TitleMatchNetwork.com.
How did you get into the wrestling business? You met Verne Gagne, obviously.
Verne Gagne brought his whole family over to Munich, Germany to watch me compete. And the prick never even showed up to the competition. He went to the wrestling matches that night, which was next door at the wrestling hall.
So how did you get hooked up with Verne? I mean, obviously he wanted to recruit you back to his camp in Minnesota. How did that come about?
That came about. It was funny. I was in 1969. I was at the World Championship weightlifting contest in Columbus, Ohio. Arnold Schwarzenegger was flexing his muscle, not on stage, but in the financial end of it, of the Mr. Olympia contest at the time. And that was Arnold Schwarzenegger's first promotional deal there in Columbus, Ohio. And so after that contest, I broke my ankle during the competition. I said, heck with this. I'm headed back to Portland, Oregon. I hadn't seen my brother for a while. He was defensive line coach for the Minnesota Vikings at the time. And so I stopped in Minneapolis and visited my brother and his family for about 5 days. He introduced me to Verne Gagne down at the old Dykeman Hotel in Minneapolis, which no longer exists, of course. And I told Verne I wanted to be a pro wrestler after the 72 Olympic Games. Well, now this is 1969, so it's 3 years in the future. Well, what makes you think you're tough enough to be a pro wrestler? I said, well, I'm a tough guy, I'm a tough kid. Everybody comes from, the streets to become a professional wrestler, professional boxer, ultimate fighter, whatever, I think I can do it. So we had a verbal agreement, and 3 years later I went through his training camp with Ric Flair, Cosgrove, Missouri, that Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik. I think wasn't he the Iron Sheik?
Iron Sheik, yep.
Yeah. Cosgrove, Missouri, 181 pounds the day we started. I don't know how heavy Cosgrove is now. I think he's added a few pounds, maybe 5 pounds. And Jimmy Brunzell, Greg Gagne, the High Flyers, and another kid by the name of Bob Bruggers. Did I mention Ric Flair?
Yes.
Yeah. Ric Flair was in there. Ric Flair and I had an apartment together over in Hopkins, Minnesota, on the east side of Minneapolis. And so I think we started in December of 72.
Now, did Verne ever try to get cute with you and try to stretch you at all, like, as far as the training goes?
Myself?
Yeah. No, okay.
No, not with any of us. Not with the 6 guys I mentioned, no. Billy Robinson got cute with the Iron Sheik once and gave him a cheap shot. And the Iron Sheik hates him to the day, I think. That was 1972. So 38 and 8 is 46 years later. I think he still hates the son of a bitch. And if some other fucker like that gave me a cheap shot, I'd hate the son of a bitch too.
How hard was the training?
Unbelievable. I had a professional training camp for 5 years that I ran from 97 to 01. So, or actually, it was 96. So 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 6 years. I ran some Minnesota Viking professional football players through the camp. They all were puking and barfing and crying after 25 minutes.
Huh.
And they thought that professional football, no, I'm not telling any lies. And I told them, I says, hey guys, I'm taking it easier on you than I take it on these guys. And none of them have folded like you guys. You guys are folding like a goddamn blanket. And I said, I'm embarrassed that, so needless to say, the camp we went through with Verne Gagne and the AWA, the old AWA, back in 1972, it was tough. It was tough.
What are your memories of your first wrestling match?
I wrestled a guy by the name of Georgegadaski. His ring name was George Scrap Iron Gadaski. And he was a tough old bastard. I wrestled him in Wilmer, Minnesota, an old armory. Wilmer, Minnesota. It's no surprising it no longer exists. It's not. The building's still there, but it's made into office. It's an office complex, condos and stuff now. But he was a character, and that was a Saturday night. Then the next night, I wrestled a guy that you'll all know, Renee Goule. I wrestled him at the old Minneapolis Auditorium, 6,500 people there on a Saturday afternoon. Place was completely sold out. And we had the newspapers there, we had the TV people there, the radio people there. And it wasn't because of Renee Goule, it was because of Ken Patera. You know, and they billed that as my first match.
How'd it go?
I beat him like a drum. I beat him like a drum. I beat him 1, 2, 3. I got him in that bear hug, and I squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. I weighed 330 pounds, and poor Renee Goule only weighed about 210. I squeezed him until his head popped off.
You also worked down in Georgia for Georgia Championship Wrestling. And
Absolutely.
What are some of your memories working down there? You worked with guys down there with the Assassin, Jack Briscoe.
I did.
I think you worked with the Assassin down there and Jack Briscoe.
I think I did.
Okay. Just making sure.
Well, my memory of Georgia Championship Wrestling, I'm going to have another sip. I don't know if I don't drink Coors Light very often. I drink Miller Lite. But I drink Miller Lite all the time when I'm drinking. But like I say, I would drink for 10 weeks. But that flight in here from Minneapolis was so disturbing. Can you believe $9.47 for a beer at the Newark airport?
It's a ridiculous price.
I mean, people. I mean, $3.50 or $4 for a gallon of gas. I mean, that's outrageous. Wait till it's $6 and $7 a gallon next year.
Oh, don't say that.
No, I'm just telling you the truth.
Right.
Buy stock in energy companies and coal companies. I have. Anyway, I'm not going to mention any of the names that I'm a stockholder in, but anyway, Georgia Championship Wrestling, the first time I went down there, we had our interviews and wrestling on Saturday mornings, and there was no locker rooms. So the only shower there was in this office. Well, the office is owned by Ted Turner, no one, and but he's a communist. He even admits that he's a commie. And he made himself famous by marrying Jane Fonda, another communist. But anyway, I was taking a shower in his office one day, and I came out, and there's this guy with his feet up on the desk, and his hair was every which way. It was during the summer. And I said, "Hey, sir, I don't know who you are, but I wish you'd take your feet off my desk." And this is after I come out of the shower. I don't know who the guy was. I was just kidding around. He turned around. It was Ted Turner. That's from 1974. What year was that? Yeah, 1974. It was in the fall of 74. He had just got through racing his yacht out in the Atlantic Ocean. I can't remember the name of his yacht. What was it? You remember the name of his yacht?
I don't know.
Courageous? Courageous, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, he turned around, he recognized who I was. Hey, the Olympic strongman, Ken Patera. I say, hey, Ted. And so I reached out, shook his hand, stuff, introduced myself. Yeah, not nice guy at the time, but I didn't realize that he was going to turn into a commie. But yeah.
TitleMatchNetwork.com